Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is part of a series of webinars that we do specifically for new members or people that are just logging in to BNI Connect for the first time. I'm going to go through the whole system in a series of short bite-sized increments. Yesterday we actually went over how to fill out your profile. Today we're going to talk about how to give and receive referrals online through BNI Connect, so how to track all of that going forward using the online slips information here in BNI Connect. After that, we're going to take a look at the the connecting with other members. Then we're going to look at the member tools and reports, and we're going to round it all off with inviting and registering visitors. Couple of housekeeping things before we get started with today's topic, and that is that this is a live webinar. At least if you're here with us today, you are free to ask any questions that you'd like to. So if there's something that you need some clarification on or anything that you'd like to know more about, please do feel free to ask those questions as we're going through the material today. The way to do that is just type your question in. I'll see it pop up on my screen here, and I'll be able to answer that as we're going along. Or, of course, if it's something completely and totally unrelated, I'm still happy to answer that question, but I'll usually hold off on that until the end. We also do record all of these webinars to make sure that they're available for other people to learn from them. You're welcome to share that with anybody you'd like to, or possibly other people in your chapter that might need more information on the subject. You'll find it in a couple of places on the support site. You can get there by clicking the question mark in the upper right-hand corner of BNI Connect, or you can also find that on YouTube, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. So let's get started with today's content. Again, this is the online slips in BNI Connect. So a couple of things about the online slips. There really is a big benefit to using the online slips. So traditionally, if you've been around BNI for a while, you'll know that we use, we usually tracked this information using pieces of paper. So you'd have the paper referral slip, and you'd have a paper one-to-one slip and a paper CEU slip, and thank you for closed business. Now, originally, the reason for that was because we didn't have a online system, and that was the way that we got that information to the vice president so they could take it back and enter it into the PALMS report, which we use to track the chapter statistics. Well, with BNI Connect a couple of years ago, we now can just enter those directly online into the system. And besides getting that information into the PALMS report and saving the vice president a whole lot of time counting all that stuff up, it also gives us a big benefit as members, because now we can really use BNI Connect as a tracking mechanism for those referrals going forward. So it's not just about the statistics. It's not just, oh yeah, I passed 25 referrals last year, or I received 25 referrals, or I had 50 one-to-ones. But now we can actually start tracking, okay, so where did the referrals come from? So who gave me all those referrals? Who did I give the most referrals to? Who did I have one-to-ones with? So where am I spending my time? It really gives us a whole brand new level of looking at our relationships with the people in our chapter, and it's a big benefit to our BNI membership. So let's take a look at how this all works. Now, in order to do that, we do need to log into BNI Connect, and when you log into BNI Connect, you should see something very similar to what I have on my screen here, and that's basically just the home screen in BNI Connect. Now, this is pretty much where it's all going to happen, where all of the things that we need to do on a daily or weekly basis are all accessible here through the home screen. Now, here at the top of the screen, what we'll see is basically a report called My BNI Business. And the My BNI Business report is your personal statistics here in BNI. Now, I am a member of BNI. I'm a fully active member here in the great state of Rhode Island, and this is my personal report. So everybody has their own personal report when they log in, and we can see the activity for the last 12 months, so the last one year, and it's a rolling year, or our lifetime. So I've been a member since 2002, and these are all of my stats dating all the way back to 2002. And it's going to show me, again, referrals received, thank you for closed business, referrals given, visitors, one-to-ones, and CEUs. Now, all of that information is there regardless of whether you've been using BNI Connect or not. That is all the historical information just because the chapters have always submitted POMS reports. The one figure that you can only track if you're using the online slips here with BNI Connect is this one called revenue received to my business, the top number. In other words, how much money have you made in BNI? The reason that everybody pretty much starts out with a 0 on that one in BNI Connect, even if you've been a long-time member, that's because that's a new statistic that we've never tracked. We actually don't track this at all in the POMS report. We only track the money that people have generated, or the givers part of giver's gain, money generated for other people. However, as we'll see in a minute, if you start submitting these slips online in BNI Connect, especially the thank you for closed business, you will be able to then see how much money you've made. In other words, if you're thanking other people for business, we'll collect that information for you and display it. We'll sum up that total. That information, by the way, is 100% private to you, so nobody else in the world sees the revenue received to my business. So down at the bottom part of the screen here, we have the different ways that we submit our slips. We can submit thank you for closed business slips, referral slips, one-to-one slips, and CEU slips. Below that is a link to track our referrals. So as we receive referrals in BNI Connect, we can actually track the progress of those referrals. And again, the benefit of submitting your referrals online is that you immediately can see all of the details of those referrals, and we'll save those details for you that you can go back and review at any time. So you can see a copy of the thank you for closed business or referral or one-to-one or CEU that you've sent. There's also a received referrals report, so you can see all of the referrals that have been sent to you electronically. And finally, we can print out our weekly slips. So let's take a look and see how all of this works. Now for that, again, as I mentioned, I am a real live member here in Rhode Island, so I don't really want to submit any slips in my account here. So let me switch over to one of my test accounts. This is one of my test users that is up in Antarctica in the Burr chapter, and this is Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin is going to submit some activity here for his chapter. So let's try the very first one here. Submit thank you for closed business slips. So one of the things that we do is we thank other people for generating business to our business. So when a referral closes, we're going to submit a thank you for closed business slip. So we click on submit slip, and hopefully this looks relatively familiar. This is typically the green piece of paper that's in your chapter, green for the money. All we need to do is select the person from our chapter that gave us that referral that turned into business. So let's say that Johnny Depp in the Burr chapter, he had given me a referral that ended up turning into business, and it turned into $1,000 of business for my business. I can then choose whether it was new or repeat. So now with thank you for closed business, we do want to make sure that we are tracking our recurring revenue as well. For example, in my business, I may get a client that is managed services for their computers, that once they become a client, they're on a contract for years and years and years. So every time they follow through with that contract, I would put in more recurring business. So that would be repeat business. If this is a first time you're doing business with the person, it would be new. You can also choose whether it's a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 referral. If you're unsure what that is, a tier 1 referral is an inside referral. What that means is that the relationships stayed inside the chapter. So in other words, 2 members did business directly with each other. So for example, if I'm here, Ricky Martin, if I actually hired Johnny Depp myself to do something for me, that would be a inside referral. However, an outside referral or a tier 2 referral is if I just introduce anybody else in the world to Johnny Depp. That would be an outside referral. A tier 3 referral would be if, let's say that I had referred my mother to Johnny Depp. Then my mother ended up referring her sister to Johnny Depp. That would be a tier 3 referral. Now the comments, you can put whatever you'd like in the comments. The comments will always remain private to you and only you. So only you will ever be able to see the comments. Down at the bottom, I have a couple of choices, submit and new, submit or close. If I'm doing a bunch of thank you for closed business all at once, I could click submit and new to just open up a new form right away, or I can just submit this one. That would take me back to the home screen. You'll see a little message. It is important that we still celebrate this activity each and every week at our meeting. Now the beauty of this is that as soon as I enter it, you'll notice that none of these numbers at top changed, because that'll happen after we submit the PALMS report for that week or after the vice president does. However, if I go and click on review my thank you for closed business slips, by default it's going to show me the last 6 months, but I could actually choose any time period I want to. But immediately this thank you for closed business slip is here in this list. It is in a draft mode, meaning that our meeting hasn't happened yet that week. But I can see the comments, I can see whether it was new business, the amount, and who I thanked for business. Now the rest of the slips work in pretty much the exact same way. So let's say I have a referral for somebody. If I click submit referral slips, I choose the person from my chapter. Let's say I have a referral here for Marky Mark from the Funky Bunch, and I'm referring him to, let's see, who should I refer him to? To Mike Jones. And this is an outside referral. I gave Mike Jones Marky Mark's card. The phone number, and an email address. All right, then I put in any comments that I want to make about this particular referral. Mike could be a great new drummer for the band. I'm going to rate this referral as a 3, and I can submit this one as well. Now, the great part about submitting referrals online is that Marky Mark here will immediately get an email letting him know about that referral. So that gets delivered as soon as I click submit, and the beauty of that is we don't really have to wait until the meeting in order to pass that referral. Basically, so here's an example. Here's a referral that I received recently in my chapter just last week. So I can see here that it was a 3 on the temperature scale. I can see the referral's name and address and phone number, any of the comments that he gave me, and also the contact information for the person that referred this to me. So I can either call the client right away, and on my cell phone, if I get this notification, I can just click the phone number and it'll start dialing. Or I can even call my referral source. I have his contact information right there, and I can get in touch with them in order to find out more information about this referral. So this really helps to speed up the referral process and helps it to happen right away. And of course, if I review my referral slips, I can go and now see that referral. So I can see that I referred Mike Jones to Marky Mark and all the comments about it, and all the other information. And once again, it is in draft status because our meeting hasn't yet happened this week. Once it has been submitted, that will change to complete. One-to-one slips, these work the same way. I just click on a one-to-one slip. Now, if you have somebody that you've met with or have a referral for, or thank you for closed business, you can also record that activity with other people in your region. So a region in BNI are specific areas. So for example, here in Rhode Island is one region of BNI. So I could record this type of activity with anybody else that's in my direct area. Unfortunately, it is limited just to the people in your area. So I couldn't, for example, record a one-to-one with somebody in Texas or California or Ireland or India. I could only do it with other people here in Rhode Island. So here in Antarctica, I could search for Bob Jones, or let's say somebody from another chapter here. Oh, I'm a little bit more limited up in Antarctica, but I can choose that person. That person is now the person that I met with. I choose the location that we met, Starbucks, what we talked about. And the date that we met. Now, only one person of the one-to-one pair has to enter this. It will actually appear in both people's one-to-one reports. So I should immediately see this in my review my one-to-one slips. And this will also appear in Bob Jones's one-to-one slips report. And we'll also both get credit for it in our POMS report. Finally, we do have CEU slips. You want to make sure that you submit a CEU for today's webinar. You do get 1 credit for being on today's webinar. Now, the beauty of this also is that if we get to our meeting, some people always ask, well, now that we're doing all this stuff online, what happens to the chapter meeting? Well, the chapter meeting stays the same. We absolutely want to celebrate all of this activity on a weekly basis. So we want to talk about the one-to-ones and the referrals and the thank you for closed business at our weekly chapter meeting. However, since we're filling it out all online, we can print our slips now. So we can print our weekly slips. And if we go here, what we'll see is that the referral slip, when I go to print this, the referral slip will print out at approximately the same shape and size as a regular referral slip. The rest of the information really is just there for being able to announce it in an orderly fashion, but you don't have to necessarily turn slips in for that. This way you'll still be eligible for the door prize at your chapter meeting. Now, as I mentioned before, as you receive referrals in BNI Connect, you can also track those. Now, I don't really have any referrals here with Ricky Martin up in Antarctica, but let me switch back over to my own personal account. And I can track the referrals that I receive online by clicking Track Your Referrals. If I click Go, this will show me my referrals that I've received in the last couple of weeks. And here's that referral that I showed the email for just a minute ago from Jean Allsworth. So I can click on this Edit button, and now I can track the progress. So when did I follow up with them? When did I contact them? So I actually received this referral last week. This referral is now closed. I contacted Jean that same day. I ended up meeting with them last week, and I followed up again with them yesterday, and this is now a done deal. I can submit this, and the nice thing about tracking your referrals this way is that Ken will see the results of that. So if Ken goes to his received referrals or his referrals given report, so if he goes to review his referrals given, his tracking sheet status will also say closed. All right, now one of the beauties of this whole system, again, is that now that I'm starting to develop some history, so for my personal account, I've been using this for a number of years now, and if I go and I can review my referral slips, for example, I can go all the way back to 2012 and essentially see every single referral that I have ever passed in my chapter for the last 4 years, which is just, it's a wealth of information. I can see who I passed the referrals to, who the client was. And what I find really great about this is that I can click this To button, and I can sort this by who I'm giving the referrals to. And by reviewing this information, the most important thing I can do here is to really make sure that I am participating, especially in my contact sphere. So hopefully you know what a contact sphere is. A contact sphere is that smaller group of individuals in your chapter that you're naturally going to do the most business with. Now, for example, for me, the computer guy, that's going to be really the other people in the technology industry. So it might be the web designer. It's going to be the guy that sells and services copy machines. It's going to be maybe the person that develops apps for smartphones. It might be the internet provider, the person that does phone or VoIP systems. Those are the type of people that I'm naturally going to be doing the most business with. So really what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm giving referrals to those people in my chapter. So I'm really, part of the whole giver's gain process is to make sure that I'm giving referrals to people in my chapter and especially people in my contact sphere. So I can review this information and, for example, Joe Sylvia, he's the printer guy in my chapter. So am I confident that I am giving to the people in my contact sphere, or who am I giving the most referrals to? Because when it comes down to it, I mean, if you're, like, I'm a computer guy, for example, if I'm giving a ton of referrals to the florist, so let's say I gave 50 referrals last year, but 42 of them were to the florist in my chapter because I stop and pick up flowers on the way home from work, that is showing referral activity, but it's not really doing me much good with people that I really need to build the visibility and credibility with, which are, really most importantly, the people in my contact sphere. Now, the same thing is true for some of the other activity. If I go and I review, for example, the thank you for closed business slips, this is going to show me who I'm thanking for the most business. So again, I can go back to when I first started tracking this. And again, I can see all of the thank you for closed business slips. So I can sort this, for example, by amount and see who are the biggest referral givers for me. I could also sort this by thank you to. And what I can find out from this is, who really is providing the most business to my business. And I can review this information. In other words, now I can see, okay, well, am I receiving referrals from my contact sphere? And if I'm not, who am I receiving the most referrals to? Another way to look at this is, who do I need to take out to lunch to thank you for providing business to my business? And of course, all of these comments and everything, those are 100% private to you. And finally, we have our one-to-one slips where we can review all of those. Once again, now I can view not just the number of one-to-ones I've had, but who did I meet with? And more importantly, am I meeting with people from my contact sphere on a regular basis? A lot of times our goal in BNI is to make sure we have at least one one-to-one per week. My recommendation to you is to have 2 one-to-ones each and every week. Have a one-to-one with somebody from your contact sphere every single week, and also make sure that you're trying to have a one-to-one with somebody else in the chapter as well. Of course, the other report that we have here is the received referrals report. And once again, I can review every referral and all the details of those referrals from all of the people that I've received referrals from in my chapter. And what I like about this one as well is that this one also gives me an opportunity to make sure that I'm submitting my thank you for closed business properly. So what I like to do is, especially because I don't do my own books anymore, so I have a bookkeeper that does all of that, and my accountant was a great referral. She's the accountant in my BNI chapter. But because of that, what I need to do is I need to make sure that when somebody gives me a referral that my accountant and bookkeeper mark that appropriately in my QuickBooks to say this was a BNI referral, so I can report back on that later. So it's nice to go back through these and to make sure that I'm thanking them for that closed business. All right, so that is the online slips here in BNI Connect, and we are just about the bottom of the hour. So what I'd like to do is to open this up to any questions that you might have about the recording your activity here in BNI Connect or about anything else in BNI Connect. I'm always happy to answer questions, and I'm always happy to stay on these calls until all questions have been answered. While you guys are thinking of any questions, just a couple of reminders. This is being recorded. It will be made available on the support site. You can get to the support site at any time by, see this question mark up here in the upper right-hand corner? So, oops, I think I went a little bit too far there. Let me zoom back out. Right here in the upper right-hand corner, there's this question mark. Click that question mark. That will take you to the support site. And you'll see a button that says live and recorded webinars. That's where you will find the recordings. You can find all the recorded webinars here, and you can also find our list of live webinars. A good referral for me is to please refer people to these webinars. Our very next webinar is going to be Tuesday, September 20th. So this coming Tuesday, a week from yesterday, we're going to talk about connecting with other members. Just go to this link to register, or please forward that link to anybody you think might be interested. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm going to just say thank you guys so much for being here with us today. Again, you're welcome to review these recordings either up on the support site or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, where we do keep our entire list of webinars. All right, I look forward to seeing you hopefully on a future webinar, and happy connecting.